Hi, I'm Dr. Philip Macmillan, and as usual, I am trying to challenge you, my listeners, subscribers, to see whether or not from these conversations you feel empowered to ask important questions. And one of the important questions is, how have you, and I mean you, meaning everyone in the general public, accepted that we have not yet got absolute clarity on the origin of SARS-CoV 2? And today I'm going to make a parallel to something that happened recently in the United Kingdom with regards to the conviction of a nurse over the deaths of babies. I'll also be sharing with you a reminder about our upcoming conference, the Post Vax Long COVID Congress. And I'm sharing again the perspective of Charles Rixey, who is here to specifically speak about his work around that. So I will share exactly what he has said in terms of promoting the conference, which is coming up on Saturday and Sunday of this week. So make sure you register at the link below. But I want to take you to the case that recently happened in the United Kingdom. And I've got here a paper which I think is very, very helpful. This is published on the 23rd of August, that's today, in the BMJ, Lessons Not Learned. And this was done by Alison Leary. She's a professor of healthcare and workforce modeling. And she's mentioning the case of Lucy Letby, a neonatal nurse. And you can follow the story if you are interested. She's been found guilty of the murder of 7 babies and the attempted murder of 6 babies. Okay. And this case has stood out in the country largely because there was an opportunity for the trust to have dealt with the issue, but the whistleblowers or the people who were concerned, the work colleagues, were not listened to. And it's important when we look at what this professor said. When workers are listened to and constructive dissent is encouraged and normalized, along with the reporting of incidents, there is little need for whistleblowing. And what they're highlighting here is the fact that when you have a culture where things can't be openly discussed, openly challenged, where there is no hiding from what is going on, that's where you are less likely to make big mistakes. This issue about the origin of SARS-CoV 2, I squarely put the responsibility of the whole public, because this is not a US problem. This is not a Chinese problem. This is not a European problem. This is a global problem. And leaders were not forced to make sure that these questions were answered. And to put it into context, even for myself, this was in August of 2022. I've put the link in the description. I was doing our ongoing investigations into the origin of SARS-CoV-2 still important? And why are scientists ignoring these questions? I've highlighted the papers. I've looked at the lab leak theory. This was from Vanity Fair. This US Senate Minority Report on the origins. All of these things are extremely important reading. Most people are not educated about it, and they only have opinions. They've not actually read any of the research around it. And as far as I'm concerned, everyone who ignores this is similar to the management where there is no accountability if there is a problem down the line. This is extremely important, not just for yourself, but for your children and the grandchildren, because if this came from a source that was not natural, it has implications for the whole world, not just now, but in the future. I want you to take a quick listen to Charles Rixey as he highlights what he's going to talk about in the conference coming up.
And a current member of Drastic, investigating the origins of the SARS-CoV-2 virus. My talk will focus on my work in 1. Quantifying the depth and breadth of scientific censorship around the origin of the virus and appropriate medical responses to it. 2. looking at the virus and the public health response to it through the prism of gain-of-function research. 3. Highlighting specific evidence within epitopes of the viral genome that were specifically censored, which likely relate to long COVID past sequelae. And 4. Highlighting relevant new advances in epigenetics. I look forward to what will be a very important and very timely conference.
And so that's Charles Letby, who's been doing research around this and making sure that this question is not hidden away. That's where responsibility comes to each and every person in society to not overlook the things that are there. When the whistleblowers come out and they raise concerns, we as a society must not ignore them. That's the responsibility, or that's the lesson that we should have learned from this recent case with regards to Letby. Safety is a board responsibility, but there is still a question of accountability. The actions or inactions of leadership have come up frequently in inquiries. And this applies not just to our political leaders, because our political leaders will respond to what they are challenged on. And if they are not challenged to come up with answers, then they will not. And therefore, this issue truly represents a challenge to the general public to make sure leadership asks the important questions. Have we learnt any lessons from the origin of SARS-CoV-2? Have we ignored the fact that many of the important details have been overlooked, have been falsified, and that there is no clear consensus on the natural origin of this virus? And I will leave you with a final point. There's a reason why I'm highlighting this as very important. For those people who continually mention that this is just a cold, let me warn you, if this was not of natural origin, it would have been designed to appear very simple, but do a lot of damage. If we don't know about the origin and we don't know the purpose that it was designed for, if that was the case, then we are not only fooling ourselves, but we are ensuring that for children and grandchildren down the line, they are at risk for the same thing to happen to them or even to us in the present time. That's the lesson. If you ignore it, it will not go away. It will certainly give the confidence to those who may have done something like this to try and do it again. Have a good evening. Let's all continue to ask questions.